February. This has been a big week. We started school, and that started not so great. Our first homeschooling day was less than could be expected. I'm praying we get attitudes right, and by we, I mean mostly the other person that's involved in homeschooling, my Jackson, and that it's a better year. But we got through what we needed to get through, and we have a whole year to learn and grow and get better at this. So year 5 started not so great, but praying lots through that. And then my brother came in town with his kids this week, and so we've been doing a lot of family stuff, and thank goodness my mom has fed us a ton, and we just hung out a lot, which was great. One day we went to the zoo, and Ryan and Riker were super disobedient and lots of whining and crying, and I had said that we might have to leave if that continues, and unfortunately it did, and I had to follow through. And it broke my heart to follow through because I don't want to discipline them like that. They were with their cousins, we were having such a great time, their grandma and grandpa were there, and we had to leave super early, and it just broke my heart. And as they were screaming and crying, I was pushing the double stroller, I had Lincoln strapped to me and the baby Bjorn, pushing up this giant hill, and Ryan and Riker are both throwing a fit in the stroller, and somebody passes by, an older couple passes by, and the man turns to the wife and says, "Oh honey, remember that 40 years ago? That was you." And I turned to them and I said, "Oh, you made it through." And she said, "We did, and we're still smiling." It was that moment of like, it's just a moment and it's okay. And I feel like I've had a lot of those moments this week. We got together with some family friends, and I've known her, she's my mom's age, and I've known her almost my whole life, and she said that all the years that she was raising kids, she felt like she wasn't a good mom, which is funny because I always felt like she was a great mom, but she always felt like everybody was a better mom than her, and she was a good mom. And her kids are adults, and they're amazing. They love the Lord, and they're just great people. They all have great relationships with each other, and it was again another encouragement that like in these hard times, I often feel like I'm not enough and like I'm failing. But the biggest goal, the biggest thing to be praying for is that at the end of my parenting road, that my kids just love the Lord and that they're good people who want to do God's will. And I can see that in Julie's life with her kids. The family friend that I was talking to, her kids are amazing, and she just relied on the Lord, even in her what she felt like was her failings, and in her in the hard moments of parenting. Wow, lots of crying in this diary. So a hard time right now in the way I feel sometimes, but a lot of sprinklings from the Lord of like, I see you, I love you, and don't get caught up in the hard moments. So don't run away from the hard things, like dig into them and just rely on my strength. And then I think the highlight, again, another like sprinkling from the Lord, the highlight of my week was Ryan one day singing my praises, literally. So my kids got this little ukulele from my parents this week, and Ryan took the ukulele at some point, and she's a words of affirmation girl, and she will at times tell me very sweet things, but she spent probably 3 minutes just singing this song about why I'm so wonderful and telling me I'm so beautiful and I'm a wonderful mom and all that sort of thing. And it's just another one of those like moments where God was like, I'm gonna lift you up in this moment with your daughter literally singing your praises. So that was definitely the highlight of my week. And we had some really fun moments with family and some really hard moments of feeling like I'm not enough and I'm failing in a lot of areas, but also knowing that God's got my back, He's watching me, and I just need to rely on His strength.
Dear Journal. So, what I'm thinking about this week in light of all the craziness that's going on all around us, and it does not seem to be getting less crazy between all the coronavirus stuff and the unknown, and all the issues going on right now in Oregon still, and in Wisconsin, and all these places where people are just acting crazy towards each other. I've been saying for a while, there's a ton of fear going around, and people do kind of irrational things out of fear, oftentimes really irrational things out of fear. And there's a lot of that going around right now, whether it's coronavirus related or race relation related, or police related, or pick your thing to be anxious about. And I've been thinking a lot about how we be a family and how we be individuals that don't cave into fear and don't allow fear to creep in, and that that even ties into just our family, right? I mean, we've not had super banner weeks and maybe month or month and a half with regards to child behavioral issues, and that's a thing, right? Where kids are going to grow up and they're going to test authority and they're going to act the fool sometimes, and that's just part of growing up. That's why they have parents there to discipline them and try and rein them in, and certainly I'm happy to do that, and Andrew's happy to do that, but for whatever reason the last month or two has just been not good. And I find that I don't myself, I've been blessed, I believe, by the Lord with a real gifting of faith, where I don't struggle with like the coronavirus stuff. I don't struggle with the race relation stuff as far as from a fear standpoint goes, because I know the Lord's got it and He'll lead us, and He'll keep us safe and He'll get us through this as long as we rely on Him. But what I found is that I can struggle with fear that despite our best efforts as parents, our kids are gonna grow up to be hooligans. And I think this week, as I've thought about probably being a little bit judgmental towards some people that are living in fear with regards to some of these things I've mentioned, just feeling like I need to not live in fear with regards to raising the kids, because in some ways they're gonna act crazy and do stuff that's gonna be embarrassing or frustrating, or that I know we raised them better than them. They're gonna do that. I did that, unfortunately, and I hope that we raise them with an understanding of who the Lord is in their lives and what their responsibility is to Him, and that they know we're here for them to help guide them and console with them as they get older, and continue to run the race well with regards to discipline. But I can't be living in constant fear that every time somebody is disobedient or tells a lie that means they're going to grow up to be a psycho. And in some ways I've lived in that fear and anxiety, and that bleeds over into my marriage and the way I raise my family and the way I act towards the kids and all the rest. So in a lot of ways I need to be repenting of that fear. And then this morning at church, one of our pastors gave a really good message talking about the spirit of fear. that really stuck with me, because we talk about fear kind of the same way we talk about happiness or anger, right? Like, I'm angry, I'm scared, right? I mean, but it's what he pointed out that's really interesting is throughout the Bible, when the Bible talks about fear, it talks about the spirit of fear. That was really helpful for me. Fear is not just something I feel that I've got to figure out how to get over. It's a spiritual attack. Right? There's a spirit of fear. It's temptation. And that temptation can be difficult for a lot of people. Circumstances can give a foothold to that spirit to take root in our lives, in my life in particular. And so remembering that it's not just something within me that wells up in fear, it's a spirit of fear. And fortunately, I have a relationship with the Almighty Creator who can drive that spirit of fear out. And that's what I want. That's what I've been thinking about this week.